You know, my hate for unions grows every fucking day, especially when I see what is going on in Canada right now with Canada Post and all of its workers and their demands, and the fact that they're doing this during Christmas season, you know, when a lot of businesses are dependent on Canada Post to deliver their packages to customers. So, you know, a lot of small businesses, 80 to 90% of their businesses is done on eBay, which relies on Canada Post. So they're like, fuck you. We don't give a shit. Who cares if you guys are going to lose money? We want our benefits. We want everything that we're asking for, right? And there's something like 550 trucks waiting full of packages being like not delivered, and the federal government just came in and tried to get them to go back to work and offered them, you know, like a temporary thing where they would work until January 1st or whatever, and then they would start their renegotiations again. But they turned it down. They're like, we don't want the $1,000 bonus and this. We're just going to keep striking, right? And it's fucking bullshit. It's like, you know, we are dependent on you guys to deliver our mail. You have 2/3 of our industry. You have more or less a monopoly on it, and we're forced to use you. This is why I hate the government. This is why most things should be run by the private sector, because you know what? They would not be able to strike like this. And, you know, looking at the amount that they pay these workers, they cost on average 41% more than the workers do on the private sector. So the people working for UPS and all these other companies are not striking and demanding all this extra pay and shit because they don't need it. And, you know, this is what they're demanding, first of all, and I'll tell you what they turned down, but they want a 2.9% annual wage increase. 2.9%, right? Like, that's a pretty good raise, like minimum raise increase. And double time pay for working a 6th or 7th day. So, you know, that is kind of interesting because they don't specify, you know, hours, right? So it's like maybe you worked a 3-hour day, a 4-hour day, Monday to Friday, and what now they want overtime for Saturday and working, you know, a couple extra days. I'm not saying that's completely unreasonable to want overtime working weekends, but you know, this is why we need things to be in a free market. Because if your job is really valuable enough and you really deserve it, then they will give you the overtime pay because they need people to work these jobs. But because like this, you know, they can just all stop working. Now we are dependent upon them. We can't do anything without it. And now they're going to get what they want. And then they wanted new wage advancements for temporary workers based on working 1,000 hours in a fiscal year. So, you know, they really want to help temporary workers. It's like, no, okay, temporary job. You knew what you were getting into. If you don't like it, work at a different job, right? It's like people, they act like there are no other jobs in Canada. It's like, well, I have to work this really shitty job and I have to do this and that. No, you don't. You often don't. People, you know, they like to pretend like they're helpless, and you know, they're stuck in their situation where, you know, sometimes, but a lot of the times you put yourself in that situation and you could have, you know, went to school, did training, looked for different jobs, but you don't. You just stay there in the government job, and then whenever you want more money, you're just going to go on a strike, right? And then what else? Injury pay at 80% of regular salary, improvements to company's short-term disability plan. So whatever. And then this is what Canada Post was offering: a 2% annual wage increase plus a signing bonus of up to $1,000. So, you know, that's pretty much what they wanted. But, you know, when you're bargaining with unions and they have a monopoly on the industry, they don't really have to bargain. They just can keep digging in their heels, and eventually you're going to have to give them what you want because, you know, we are dependent upon it, right? So, you know, hopefully this does backfire for the Canada Post, and then a lot of people just start giving their money to private industries, to private entities, and then that just helps them grow. And then, you know, a lot of the mail that the Canada Post does deliver to, it's useless. Most of the mail that I get from you guys, I don't fucking need, okay? And, you know, they recently made it so I have to go down the street to go get my mail and shit. So it's like, I'm paying you all this money where you have a monopoly on the industry, yet you're still not even fucking doing your job. You're still like, oh, well, I don't want to have to go to each house and this and that, you know, fuck that. But, you know, that is still actually a good option to save money. Like, it is a little bit annoying to have to go walk, but it does save money. And interesting thing about that is Trudeau, I think, was going to do that federally, and it would save the government, or it would save us something like $400 million a year, but Trudeau shelved the plan, right? So that's obviously because he doesn't want to take away government workers, because government workers are the people who vote for Trudeau. You know, if you work for the government, there's a 99% chance you're a fucking liberal, you're an NDPer. There's a very small chance that you are conservative or on the right wing. But so 2% plus $1,000 bonus, they refused that, not enough. Overtime pay for working more than 40 hours. See, they said over 40 hours. So that's reasonable, right? And 500 new full-time positions over 3 years. The creation of a $10 million health and safety fund to address workers' concerns. So they're like, no. You know, they refused that. They refused the $1,000 bonus that they were going to get to work till January to give us our packages, you know, but it's like, they're like, no, fuck that. We don't need to do that. We want more money, more benefits. You know, it's like, I wish I could get $1,000 to $3,000 bonus, you know, during Christmas. But guess what? I get fucking nothing. I don't get any paid days off, sick leaves. And you think your job is more dangerous than mine? That's bullshit, man. I'm a fucking roofer. Go up on roofs. I fucking pull up 100-pound shit up like 3 fucking story buildings. You know, like, use flames, torches, propane. Get the fuck out of here, okay? But I don't need to go and collectively bargain and all this stupid fucking bullshit that a lot of you guys need to do, because my job has value. I bring value. You need roofs. You need this shit. Okay, so what happens is the wages will just go up, because there's a lot of different companies, a lot of roofing companies in my city that are all competing for each other. So you know how you keep good employees is you raise their wage, okay? And a smart businessman will do that. And the only reason why a lot of companies do not raise their wages or whatnot is because a lot of the times the government comes in and subsidizes them. Or we import tons of fucking immigrants to keep the wages low, right? Like, look at Brexit right now. Wages are finally going up in the UK. They're acting like, oh my God, we have a labor shortage. We need workers. They're doing the same thing in Canada. Oh, the business communities need workers. No, it's because they don't want to pay you more money. This is the only reason they're bringing people in. Because they don't want to give you higher wages, because they would be forced to do that if there's a smaller labor pool. But, you know, nobody understands economics whatsoever, like the basic fucking shit. Like I said, I'm a roofer with no education whatsoever, but I can understand this basic fuck shit. Why can't you? What is wrong with your fucking brains? What is wrong with the rest of Canadians to still support a lot of this monopolistic fucking industries that we have? And we're like, oh, well, it's Canadian run industry and we gotta protect Canadian jobs or whatever. No, fuck these people. They're all just succubuses. We don't need their work. We can have everything that they do, we can do it on the free market for cheaper, okay? Like I said, 40%. A government discussion paper noted that labor costs are about 41% higher comparable to businesses in the private sector. So, you know, these people suck at their fucking job. They will always suck at their job because it is run by the government, because it's publicly owned, right? You know, nothing will ever be run efficiently if you have the whole country kind of ownership of it, right? I know a lot of people that are, oh, we should nationalize energy, nationalize this, nationalize that. No, that's how you actually lose all of your fucking natural resources and you know, sell them off or use them inefficiently. You know, it has to be private for people to actually you know, not waste, to think efficiently, because when you buy something, you treat it a lot better than if somebody else bought something for you. We all understand this. You know, you buy a new tool and you see some other guy use it and he's throwing it around and it's breaking and shit. You're like, what the fuck, man? That's my tool. But you get tools that the company buys, you guys, then you throw them around, you treat them like shit. People throw them off roofs. They don't give a shit because they didn't pay for it themselves. This is all very simple, basic shit, right? And Canada Post, we could easily have the free market come in a very short amount of time to replace all of these people. It wouldn't take long, maybe a year, maybe less. You know, like look at Greyhound. They what do you call it? They're no longer giving services to a lot of places in the rural industry or rural countryside in Canada now. But literally a week after that was announced, all of these private companies came and were like, oh, we've already covered 85% of the routes that you guys are no longer covering. So it's like, you know, we don't need you guys. We don't need these fucking strikes, these constant rotating strikes, and how you guys are still refusing even, you know, the deals that people are offering you. It's like, no, we want more. And guess what? They're gonna get this deal eventually. In a few years down the road, they're gonna strike again. They're gonna be like, oh, there's not enough women working here, and they don't get paid enough, and we gotta raise the wage for all these people, and we're gonna collectively bargain for you people. It's just like, goddamn fucking unions. You know, they need to be destroyed. Or at least the government ones, because I know somebody's going to be like, well, not all unions are bad. Yeah, okay, if it's voluntary, if you can voluntarily enter into the union, and they don't steal your money on behalf of the government, because that's what the government does. It creates these laws where you are forced to give your money to these unions. And what do? They go and they give all this money to politicians, to specifically left-wing politicians who want more monopolization on our industries, on our, you know, on everything in Canada, right? They want all of this shit. So, you know, it's this is not going to end. This type of stuff will never stop until we get rid of it and have a free market. They're never going to be satisfied. Doesn't matter how many bonuses, how many sick days we give these people. They're never going to be happy. And you know what? You'll be happier on the free market anyways. You'll probably make more money. You'll have better hours. You know, like, you know, well, then again, maybe not currently with the government the way it is now, considering how they treat people. Like, you get treated so fucking well. Like, I think my job treats me pretty well, and it's on the free market. You know, my boss gave my brother like a $5,000-$6,000 loan, interest free. Okay, just because he's a nice guy, interest free. He needed shit to pay stuff off. So it's like, you know, not everybody, businesses are evil and they don't want to pay you nothing. You know, my job, every job I've worked, I got a raise every year. I never had to ask for any of it, because if you're working for smart people, they'll see how hard you work. They'll see the value you bring to the company, and they'll give you more money. If they don't, they're stupid. You quit and you go work somewhere else. But if you're one of these stupid people who keeps working for somebody who is taking advantage of you, even though you have other options, then you have nobody else to blame but yourself. And you don't go to the government and say, oh, we need to force them to do this and give me this and give me that. It's like, no, it was your decision to continue to work for them, and it's you allowing them to pay people less, right? And once again, I said immigration is also another thing. You know, they're importing people who want to work for less, who will work for less, and it's bullshit, right? Sure, it's better than your shithole country that you're coming from. Yeah, you're still going to make a lot more money, but that's bullshit for the Canadians that live here, okay? Just because businesses don't want to pay us more money doesn't mean that they have the right to come in and replace us with people that will work for less, because eventually those people are going to get entitled like us, and then they're going to want more money. Then what, are you going to import more people? Like, no. How about we focus on Canadians, Canada, have a free market within Canada, and not rely on these fucking government services that are inefficient, costly, and that don't do their fucking job. And I'll probably do another video on another thing with the government and how inefficient it is, because I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like CRA or MPI. I think was it MPI? I'm not sure, but like something like they haven't, out of like 50 million calls, they've only answered like half of them, and most people get put on hold, and these are all government employees, and it's just baffling how bad they are at their job, how little they do, and it's like you can't really expect more from it. Like I don't hate these people, you shouldn't hate them, but it's the incentives that we have in society right now incentivize these people to go and work for the government and get all of these benefits and all this shit, right? There's all these incentives right now for lazy people, for people like this to go and strike and get more money, right? But all we need to do is get rid of these incentives, get rid of the ability for unions to force you to give them dues, get rid of a lot of these other bullshit laws that, force companies to give minimum wage increase, minimum wage this and that. Like in Ontario, they just found that they just did a study, and they said that Ontario lost 50,000 jobs after the implementation of the minimum wage increase, right? And also the food went up by 3 to 4 to 5%. So, that's all of your manipulation in the market does. It just moves money around and ends up fucking shit up, ends up, ruining people's jobs. Now they have to get fired. Now they're going to automate. Now they're only going to hire old people instead of young people because they're a safer bet. So now younger people are no longer getting work experience. Every action has a reaction. So this is why governments need to have a hands-off approach when it comes to the economy, when it comes to most things, because they don't know what they're doing. They move one thing here and then it creates another thing over here that they didn't anticipate, or maybe they did anticipate, and we all pay for it at the end. So instead of all this social planning, let's just allow people to be free to spend their money the way that they see fit. And if we allowed that, the world would be much better off. We wouldn't have these fuckers going on strike every couple of years because they're greedy sons of bitches. But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and check out my links below. Check me out on Gab, Minds. I've been on a couple other sites. There's also stream.me. I suggest you guys to start checking out. There's some cool streams on there, and that's pretty much it. And also check out all the other YouTubers down below. A majority of them are Canadian, and there are definitely a few people that I forgot to mention. Check out BC Barbie. She's got a new channel as well, and go there, sub to her channel. Another Canadian patriot talking about things that are important in Canada, and everybody else below. And if there's anybody else, just leave a mention in my comment section, because I have a terrible fucking memory. So maybe I may have just forgotten. You may have said something to me earlier in comments and I was supposed to get back to you, but I forgot or some shit. So I'm sorry about that. Or maybe I'm not mentioning other people that I should be, and don't feel bad by saying, hey, mention me or whatever. Just remind me. I'll put it in the link in the description below. But that's all I pretty much had to say. Take it easy, guys.